Hello, it's Ashley here for Your Next Stamp, and welcome back for another episode of the Stamp Create Repeat series. Today I'm going to be making this really cute little card. It is perfect for a ton of different occasions, and I'm excited to have it in my card stash. I just think it looks so stinking cute with this little scene, and I will hold it up close so you can see. I have the sentiment here on a little rectangle stitched background, and I thought it looked so sweet with a little piece of twine, and I have a little enamel gumdrop there so that it looks like it is hanging on the wall to kind of set the scene for a room. And then I've got these cute little cats, and they're looking like they're up to mischief, and this little one here is putting some fish food into the tank, and I have some gumdrops there looking like food. And then I've got these sweet little guys in the fish tank, and I have some more gumdrops as little bubbles there. So I'm going to get started by sharing with you the products that I use to make the card. I will have all of them linked below, and then I'll get right into the process video. So first up, I use the Your Next Stamp Black Olive ink. I use the little wire snips. I love those so much. And then I use 2 sets of the Your Next Stamp gumdrops. This one is the Crystal Clear and Sparkle set. And that's what I use for those cute little bubbles, and they're perfect because they're clear so you can see through them. And then I don't know if you can see how you can still see as you would with a bubble that there's an image behind it. And then I use the brown ones here for the little fish food and also for that little top part there. And this was the Enchanted Forest gumdrops. Then I use this adorable stamp set. I love this one so much. It is the Aquarium Antics, and I use this really cute aquarium here. And then I used a few different little guys, that fish there, this little octopus, and this fish. And then I also used the fish food there. And there is also a little fish bowl as well that you can use. There is coordinating dies that you can purchase for this set. Then I use this really cute set. This one is Scratch Pad, and I use those 3 little kitties. They look so adorable peeking over that fish tank, and there is also coordinating dies for that set. Then I used some rectangle stitch dies. I used the second smallest size there to put the sentiment on, and then I used the largest size and the second largest size. This is the Stitch Rectangle die set. Then I used some paper from this new paper pad. This is Crazy for Coffee, and this set is so cute. I'll quick flip through it so you guys can see. It is so adorable for coffee lovers, and there's a ton of other cute patterns in there. So that's where I got that brown gingham sheet from, and then the other ones were just from my stash. So that is everything I used to create the card, and I'm going to show you once more up close, and now I'll get right into the process video. So I'm using the Your Next Stamp Black Olive ink, and I'm going to start with the Scratch Pad stamp set and stamp out this little kitty set. And that ink is just so dark. Like, look how amazing that looks. Now I'm using the aquarium. This is the Aquarium Antics, and I'm just using that set right there to stamp out this little aquarium. Then I'm going to stamp out the little fish food. And then some of those cute little fishes. So I love how there were so many to choose from. And there's some with kind of like silly faces and some just looking totally cute. And then I was just holding it up to see which other little critter I wanted to use, and I went with the little octopus. Now I'm just using my wire snips to cut out the coordinating dies, and I'm using some Post-it tape to just hold them there so that I can put it through my die cutting machine. So there is the little kitty one, so cute. And now I'm going to do the little fish food. And then the little octopus there. And the other little fish as well. And I just love these so much. It's so much nicer than having to fussy cut. I just love so much these little dies. It makes cutting it out so simple. It's done in like a second. And then I'm just also going to do the aquarium. So there's the aquarium coordinating die. And then I'm just putting my Post-it tape. And I got that Post-it tape just from my local dollar store. So that is really easy to find, and it helps a lot. So now I'm just taking the rectangle die set, and I'm just snipping it apart with my wire snips. And I'm going to use the second smallest size. And that will be so perfect to put the little sentiment on. And then it has some nice stitching. And then I'm just going to take that sentiment that says "From All of Us," and I'm just inking it up, and then I'm going to put it onto that stitch rectangle for my sentiment for the card. And now we'll get into the coloring. So to start out with, I'm using YR07 for the little cat. And I did choose to do the die cutting before the coloring. You could color and then die cut it. It's totally up to you. I just thought I would get that part out of the way. And now I'm using YR04. And then I'm blending that out with a little bit of R20 in the ears and then blending it with YR02. For the next little kitty, oh, I just put a little bit of pink on his cheeks there. And I used W3 for the little nails. For the next kitty, I used N4 and N0 for a cute little gray cat. And then again with the R20 just inside the ears. Then I'm using E55 for this little brown kitty. And then a little bit of R20 on the ears and cheeks, and then E53 to blend that out. I thought it'd be nice to have different colors of kitties. And now I just turned it out and I'm just doing a little bit of flicking motion there just to give it a little bit of texture there on the top so it looks like fur or like kitty hair. And then I'm taking my black jelly pen for the noses and eyes just to give it a little bit of gloss there and makes it really stand out. For the aquarium, I'm going to do the sand first using E55, and I'm just doing that part to put the darkest portion. And then I did also add a little bit of coloring on top of those little specks of sand, just to give it also a little bit of dimension there. And I just blended the top part with E53, and then I wanted to make it a little bit of a yellowy color, so I used Y32 and just blended that all out, and I think it just looks perfect, the color. Then I'm using YG06 to do the seaweed and YG00. And then I go in with YG03, just a little bit on that one little seaweed leaf there, and blend it out. Then I'm using Y35, and then I go in with Y38 just for those little accent pieces. And then I'm going around all the little bits of the top just to add a little bit of dimension. And as you can see, it just makes it really pop as that happens. It looks so nice. And then I'm just blending it all out with Y32. And you could color that up a ton of fun colors. And then I went in with E30 just to give it a little bit of a brown color. For the water, I went in and shaded it using B00. And then I'm adding a little bit inside of all those little spots just to give it a little bit of dimension. And again, it will make it pop. And I'm just going around the seaweed a little bit there as well too. And then I take the marker B000 and I'm just going to color in all that blue part. And because of that dimension that I added, I think it really just makes all the little elements in there really look dimensional. And then I put the kitties, they're so cute. So then for the last little part of the tank, I'm using C2 just for the outside of it. And then I'm going to blend that out using N0. And I just love how they're peeking in. It looks so absolutely adorable. Now I'm going to go back in with E34, and I zoomed in close for you guys so you could see I just added a little bit of dots, and it just gives it a little bit of something, and I thought it looked like little pebbles on the bottom. I love it so much. So now I'm going to do these smaller portioned pieces. So let's start with this little fish here, and I'm using B05, B02, and then I'm blending it with B00. And then for the other part of him, I'm going to be using some green colors. I thought he'd be really cute in a blue and green color. So for the green, I'm using YG06, YG03, and YG00. And I think you could do a ton of really cool tropical colors too and make this set really like tropical, would be really cute. And now I'm just going to do the fish food. So I'm using YG03 there. And I'm going to make that fish the same look as the fish that I just did. And then for the lid, I'm using YR06, 04, and 02. And then I'm going to use the green there, which was YG03. And that same blue color again for that little fish. And then I also use that to do the other portion of the fish food there. And I turned it upside down because I'm going to have the cat kind of pouring it in. And that was the way I wanted to do the shading because in the card it will be upside down. So I wanted it to have the same type of shading. So now I'm using B28 and B24 for this little guy. And then B05 and B02. And then I blend that out with B00. And I just think he looks adorable. This is so fun. My favorite type of stamp sets are ones that you can totally mix and match the sets, and it's just so fun to create a little scene. So I used that same green combo for the little polka dots on the octopus, and I decided I'd go with orange because I had a little bit of orange on the top there, and I wanted to add a little on the bottom. So I'm using that same orange color, YR07, 04, and then I'm blending it out with 02. And he is so adorable. I love that little guy. Then I just added a little bit of pink on all of the little critters' cheeks, and I used the black jelly pen for their eyes. And now I'm going to cut out my card bases. So I'm using the second largest size for that brown gingham and the largest size for this blue gingham. And now the fun part to layer it all up. So I'm taking that light blue gingham and I'm just setting it on top of my A2 sized card and trimming it out. That's going to be the background. And I thought since there was a bit of orange, I'd use orange for the A2 sized card base. So I'm going to take that blue gingham paper and just adhere it down using my ATG gun. And then I'm adding on this darker blue stitched rectangle and layering that up with the brown gingham stitched rectangle there. And now I'm going to put on my pieces. So I'm going to take the little aquarium there. And it just looks so fun that these little guys are peeking in. And I'm always looking for masculine cards to have in my stash. And I think this card is perfect because it'd be great for a girl or a boy. And so now I have an awesome card in my stash that can be used for a girl or a boy, which I'm excited about. So I'm just adding on all these little elements. And it's so fun with the little fish. It just adds so much dimension when you start putting them on. And then for the top part here, I wanted to make this look like a little wall hanging or like a picture hanging from the wall. So I took a little bit of blue twine and what I did was add adhesive to the back and then I stuck on the little end of the twine and brought it over as if it's a little hanging. And I do fuss with it. I move it down a little bit more so that it will fit on the card there. And it just looks like a cute little wall hanging to kind of create this living room scene. And then from these gumdrops here, I'm just taking one of the large brown ones, and that's kind of like the nail or the little like holder in the wall to hold that little sign there. Then I took some of the smallest brown gumdrops and made it look like food coming out of that little fish food bottle there. And then I'm going to take the other set of Your Next Stamp gumdrops. This one has sparkly and clear, and so I took the little clear ones, and they look like bubbles, and the best thing about it is you can see right through them, so it looks like little bubbles in there. So that was my card for this week. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you haven't, please head over to the Your Next Stamp YouTube channel and subscribe. Please leave comments. I love to hear your comments, and thank you as always so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye now.